Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special chat here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. We've got a debutant. You'll definitely know who this gentleman is. I've got Zac Williams with me. Zac, thank you for being here and welcome to the Blue Abroad YouTube channel, mate.
Thanks for having me. I know we've chatted probably over the last couple of years, just in passing, I guess, after games or whatnot, whatever it is. But after I had surgery, I guess when you had a chat, and I guess it was a great opportunity to sort of get on a platform like Blue Abroad and, get around amongst the fans. I think it's a good way to sort of give back to the fans. And I guess since I've been here at the Blues, I haven't really been able to get around the fans much, to be honest. With COVID when I first got here, and when I first got here as well with games, it was sort of fans are sort of come to the game and then they're not allowed to, and not allowed at the football club. So I guess now that I got a bit of time, I'm glad I'm on here and having a chat with you.
Well, you're one of us now. You're on this side of the fence for this year anyway. So I was saying to you the other day, buckle up. It's a bloody roller coaster.
And I was actually having a chat to my partner. I haven't been able to be a fan for quite a long time, to sit back and, just enjoy footy from, this side of the fence. So I know I was injured last year, but, I always had in my mind that I was going to come back to play. With this year, I'm out for 12 months. So, I guess I got to ride the roller coaster of the emotions and just become and love being a fan, to be honest, which I'm looking forward to. I know growing up, I love watching footy on TV at home, or, being able to come down to a game. I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to be hard at times, and, I've got to try not to get frustrated and be like, oh, I would have done this or I would have done that. But, I'm actually pretty excited. So, hopefully I can sit in the crowd and come and see all the fans and say good day at times. But, I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah. Well, let's go back, because you were a Carlton supporter growing up, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, from the moment I was born, my dad was a Carlton supporter, so I had no choice, to be honest. But I don't think I could. Looking back now, I don't think I would want to go for anyone else, to be honest.
We're a special bunch. Wait, so what's like your earliest memory of anything navy blue? How did it all really begin?
I was born '94, so I think Carlton were back winning premierships back in the '90s. So my dad was a massive fan, and a couple of other family members. So I think first memory I can think of just off the top of my head is maybe at Auskick. I had this old navy blue. You remember the woolen jumpers? Like, it was an old woolen one, and I used to wear the Auskick when I was like 4, 5, 6 years old. And I just remember it was it was very heavy and itchy, but I loved wearing it. It was just one of those things that I could wear all day, every day back when I was little. So that was probably one of my first memories. I actually think my mum still has it somewhere at home, so I'm trying to get her to send it down, but I don't think she wants to let it go, to be honest.
Nah, I think you're dreaming if you're getting that back.
I know. So, but if I get my hands on it, I reckon I'd probably frame it, or probably try and get it upsized and try and wear it around. I reckon, if I could. But it's probably one of my first memories is my first navy old woolen jumper that I had, I reckon.
Yeah. I have this theory, right? So I have this theory that when you're a kid, like, you love the club, of course, but you love your heroes first, your individual, your players. Did you have anyone that you latched onto from Carlton first?
Yeah, Kudafides. I think when I first got the trade, I think I mentioned that he was my favourite, Blues player when I was a kid. But he was a special player. Obviously, everyone knows that. But probably when I grew up, my teenage years, going through high school, it was the Eddie Bettses and Mark Murphys. So when I got to the club, when I got traded here, I already met Eddie through sort of Indigenous camps. So I knew Eddie when I first got here. I think Eddie played a little bit of a part of getting me here as well. He'll try and take a bit of put his hand up for that as well, I think, Eddie. But yeah, when I showed up to the club and I met Murph for the first time, I was sort of it was all a bit of a shock, to be honest. Walking through the doors, and I saw the big Carlton sign, and meeting Murph for the first time, it was pretty, didn't feel real, to be honest. I didn't feel like I was here to play football for Carlton at the time. I just felt like a fan walking in through the doors and meeting all the players and stuff. So, I'd say Murph was probably the one that, he captained the football club through a pretty tough time, and he was a special player too. Some of the things that you just probably go on YouTube and look at his highlights. Some of his highlights are just unreal. So probably him and Koudafides are the ones that I sort of grew up idolising, I guess.
Yeah, Kuda was the same for me. So I grew up in Laylaw, Mill Park, Laylaw. I went to school at Laylaw Secondary, so he went there as well. So it was always like there was there was the Greek connection. So I'm like, yeah, that's my guy. He got me hooked in, and that was it. Haven't looked back.
Yeah, I don't think there's even supporters that I always talk to family members that go for other teams, and uncles and aunties that went for other teams, and they even loved Kuda as well. So when opposition love certain players from other clubs, that they're a pretty special player. So, but no, he was awesome, wasn't he? Used to watch.
Yeah. What do you reflect on becoming a father? Like, obviously it's been just over a year. What do you reflect on when you look back at how life is now and what it was before having the responsibility?
Yeah, I guess, the urge to want to, go out for dinners with your mates all the time and, want to go out after a game or something like that. Or even like through the week, the want to actually, when you get home, you can actually switch off from footy, which I didn't really do that for, I think this is my 11th season now. So I haven't really done that my whole career, being able to come home and, sort of switch off straight away from footy. And I think, that the past pre-season, I think that really helped me, being able to come home and, I'm buggered from doing a 13K session or whatever it is in training, and just coming home, being able to put the feet up and just not even worry about being sore anymore. Because once I walk through those doors, I can't be sore because Ayla's running around and I got to chase her and I got to get up and, get her a drink or get her some food. So I think just being able to switch off, and switch into sort of family mode and go into dad mode pretty quickly has been very beneficial, I think, to me over the past 12 months.
Should also give a special shout out to the lovely Rach, because I think oftentimes we'll talk to players and we'll watch we'll watch the games and the players get all the highlights, but there's a lot that goes on at home to make it happen. So shout out to Rach. How's she going?
Nah, she's been awesome. Even with the footy, like last year, like the season, I think she understands that, let's, for example, like the night before the game, that I need a good sleep or a good rest the night before, and I need to eat this. I'm very pedantic on what I have for dinner and what I need, and rituals and whatever. So it took her for a fair bit, even before we had Ayla, to sort of understand that this is the process through, what I need to do to get ready for a game. But now, even with Ayla, like, night before a game, usually sleep in the spare room just so I can get a good night's sleep, because Ayla sleeps with us in our bed. And, I think that was a big change for Rach, not being able to sleep or not wanting to sleep in the same room the night before the game. So, but she's been awesome. She's never questioned me about anything I do with footy, and but I think she's become a bit of a Carlton nuffy at the moment. So she loves the club. She actually loves going to the games, and when I've been injured, I'm walking around the grandstand or whatever, and we get pulled up by Carlton supporters. She loves it. She loves having a chat to people and people coming up and saying hello to Ayla and stuff. So I think you guys have roped her into becoming a fully fledged blue bagger, I reckon.
Mate, like I said, we're a special bunch. We're super passionate. We care a lot. I think even if you look at the whole podcast scene, I mean, there was nothing 5-6 years ago, and now I've lost count. There's probably 15, 16 Carlton podcasts. We just love it. I mean, it's what makes us special, I guess. The players talk about it a lot, the crowd, the noise. I'm sure even before you got to the club, you probably, when you played against us, or I guess when you're in the industry, you sort of know the big clubs with the big crowds. Actually, on that, how much of a difference does it actually make?
I think it makes a big difference playing in front of a big crowd. At the Giants, our big games were here down in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And playing finals, they were the big games and big crowds. So, but I think at the Giants was a bit different to here. So I think at the Giants you learn to love the sort of the boos, and because when you come down here, the percentage is always in the Melbourne team's favour. So you always love the noise, but it was just noise. Where here at the Blues, you can actually hear the support and the love that you get from the fans. So that's probably the difference between the two clubs. But like you said, the players do love it. So when the Blues fans show up, whether it's interstate or at MCG, it's insane. Like for me, it's been a massive change up. Like you're going to get a good crowd every week because the Blues fans just they love the boys and they love the team. So that they're going to show up in numbers. So the boys feed off it a fair bit, and even if we're down in a game, and once we get back the momentum shifted back into our terms, it's pretty hard to stop because we just ride the wave with the fans, to be honest. So, it's awesome, though. I love it personally. I love it so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. For me, sitting in the stands, going to the footy, it's the greatest activity that I've ever really done in my life. Look, I've traveled, I've done all cool things, but nothing grabs me more than going to the footy. Nothing at all.
Yeah, nothing can beat that sort of when you got 80,000 supporters there, Blue supporters, and it's just you can feel the ground shake. To be honest, when you're out there, like no lie. Like when you're standing on the ground and you can 80,000 crazy Carlton supporters going off the ground. You feel like the ground's actually shaking, but it's one of the best things. It's one of the best things I've ever done. Like you said, in my life as well, being a part of I think the grand final that I played in for the Giants. I think I played in front of over 100,000 people, and that was insane. It was nuts. But I personally love it. I can't get enough of it. It's awesome.
So you come to the club a few years back now. What do you reflect on your time from when you got here to now? Because we've had a bit of change up, coaches, off field, admin. I think this is the first year in a while where we go into a season with a bit of stability and not much change. So what do you reflect on what you saw when you got to the club and what you see now?
Yeah, I think the big one, like you said, was the stability. So I came into the club and, the club with all the new facility was being built. So the boys were getting changed in the old change rooms. They didn't really have, what we have now. So I think in that terms, stability of being able to, have good facilities, have your proper recovery, have your proper physio stuff in place. I think that was a new learning thing for me as well, coming into an environment like that. And I think the sort of review process that the club went through, I've never been a part of something like that before too. So we didn't really hear too much about the review until sort of the end of the season, after the season was over. So that stuff didn't really affect the boys through the year. But I think the changes that the club's made over the past, what's it been now, 18 months, I guess, 2 years, if you want to say that, 2 years. You can tell that's paying dividends with the people that they've brought into the club, with new players coming in, new coaches. Obviously, Bossie's been awesome, and I think as people from the outside the club, you can actually see that as well. That Bossie's doing an awesome job. Even the way he talks, in the media, that's what he's like in the behind closed doors as well. So what you see is what you get with Bossy, to be honest. But all the assistant coaches that have come in, they've done an awesome job in, supporting the players and building those relationships with the players. I know Bossy speaks about it a lot, but when he first got here, it wasn't really about the football. It was all about just building connections and relationships with the people inside the football club. Because we had so many changes with players coming in and out of the club, or new players coming to the club, and then staff coming into the club as well. So everyone was starting from scratch and meeting each other for the first time, really, to be honest. So wasn't really about the football. I think that's what I think the path that Bossy went down was really important. And I think that we're actually seeing it now. Like back end of the year, I know obviously it didn't go the way we wanted, but I think the positive is you can actually see on field the connections that the boys have with each other now. So I think that's the avenue that Bossy took was awesome, I think. And, footy was sort of second to making relationships first with the whole playing group and the actual football club. So I think where we stand now to where we did, I guess, 2 years ago, I think there's been a big shift at the club. And obviously, I think the confidence that the players have got over the past 12 months as well in terms of being able to play some really, really good football and know that the boys can actually play at that high level and play against the good teams. I think the confidence one was a massive thing as well for a lot of the boys that have been here for a while as well. So, so I'm pretty confident. I am pretty confident going into this year that the boys will do a pretty good job.
Yeah. Did you would have caught the practice match? We're obviously talking the day after the practice match. What were some of the things that caught your eye from yesterday?
So I think just I talk from like a really footy person mind. So just the control that we actually had when we defended. So we defended and got the football back, but not being able to rush and turn it over really fast. There's a few things we got to work on because it was our first practice match against opposition, and it was a pretty scrappy game. But I think when we turned it over, the ability to be able to get it back into control and then get set up what we want to do from there, whether we wanted to go really fast with the football or go quick with it. But I think just we looked very in control on defense, I think, because Colin would like to play fast. And they have for the last couple of years. So when they went really quick, and I think we adjusted really well with our defense to be able to get back the game into control the way we wanted to. So I think us moving the football, I don't think we have an issue with that. I think we got boys that can move the footy very well, and that we trust that can move the football very well. And we've obviously got the big boys down forward that we can just kick it to, and that can get on the scoreboard. So moving the football, I don't think we have an issue with. I think, that defensive side of things that we've been working on over the past 12 months is really going to show. I think it's really going to show this year and how much control we can actually take over the game, I think. I think that's what I saw on the practice game anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've had this notion of, our ability to handle the pressure. I think last year was probably the first year that I can really remember with this group, since we really, started, from scratch back in, 2015, we'll say, when we went to the draft heavy and all of that. I think last year was the first time I remember, well, first of all, like really enjoying a year consistently. Obviously it ended with a little bit of heartbreak, or a lot of heartbreak, not a little bit, but
a lot of
for the most part, it was enjoyable. And like the piece around trust and connection, like it was clearly there. So I'm curious, does the pain of how it all ended, I mean, that doesn't define the whole year. Obviously, there's a lot that went into improving how we went about things. But how important is it to put yourself in those situations to learn from them? And how do you learn from them? Like, is it just repetition? Like, what's the real missing link here?
I think the learning experience is, like I said before, the confidence for the boys to know that they actually can play at a very high level. Boys that have been here at the club for 6-7 years now, haven't had a lot of success. And the fact that they, the first half of last year, we played some really good football, led into, obviously, like I said, a bit of heartbreak at the end of the year, but going into pre-season and off-season into pre-season, a lot of the boys were very motivated because they knew that we could play at this level and that, we can play against any team, we can beat any team, and we can play some really good football. So I think the fact that confidence was there at the end of the year, boys actually kept themselves in really good shape over the off-season, come back in really good nick. And I think we had only like 3 or 4 boys that, like day one, that didn't train fully. So that just goes to show when you got a full sort of playing list coming back in really good nick. That I think that shows the commitment that the boys have shown to each other. And to be able to start day one at 100 miles an hour, which is what we wanted to do because we wanted to put ourselves in a really good position going into these games now. I think that's going to pay off. But I think, like I said, I think it was just the confidence to know that the boys could actually play really good football. You know what it's like. You've watched enough football to, whether it's opposition teams, even in games when a team comes out at half time, if it's like a Richmond or a Melbourne Demons, those really good football teams, they come out at half time and they just have the confidence, the first half was no good. We'll just park that and then we can come out and just smash it, in the second half. So I think that's where the boys are getting to now. So I think the consistency of what you mentioned before, the consistency of actually playing some really good football is, I think we'll show that this year.
Yeah. Who would you say is one of the more underrated guys in the group?
Underrated. I'm not too sure about underrated. I think one of my favourite players to watch, I think all the fans love him as well, is Jesse Motlop. And because, we go forwards, we back in training, I've actually played on him a little bit over the preseason. And he's a little shit, to be honest, so to play on. So I think he's one for me that I think if we're going to play some good football, he's going to be the one to sort of bring that energy and add that small forward and bring that pressure game, which I know he prides himself on a lot because he's chased me down a few times in preseason just gone. So I know he prides himself on that. And I love watching him play footy too. He's just one of those players every time he's around the football, you're just like, what's going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen. And you're like, something good's going to happen. So I think he's one for me that I wouldn't say underrated because he made a bit of a splash last year and played a fair few games. But if he can sort of hit the ground running right from the start, I think he's going to be one to watch, I reckon, this year.
Yeah, I'm excited by him. I'm just mindful of putting too much pressure on him. He's a second-year player, I'm just mindful of going too early, and like I think I've learned over the last few years, especially when like the kids come through the system, like it's a whole change up in life. You're a professional, it's full time, your whole life flips upside down. So I'm just mindful of putting too much pressure on him. But you're right, like there's an energy about him every time he takes the field. He seems to really be comfortable amongst it.
And the boys love him too. So, we don't even, I think the boys don't even really care if he's kicking goals or, doing those things that get you sort of on the TV screen. Like he does all the little things. He works his backside off every training run, every game. He works so hard. And I think what gets the boys up is when he does get a chase down tackle or, he hits someone really hard in a tackle. So, I think, in terms of that pressure stuff, from a football point of view, like I think, you can sort of take that pressure on or you can sort of, not even worry about that pressure and just worry about what your next contest is or what your next sort of, what you've set your goals for that game is. I'm actually really excited for him to sort of, because he's had a full preseason as well. So I'm really excited for him to be able to hit the ground running, to be honest.
Love to hear it. I've got one more for you. Just to update, I guess, obviously, you've just had your surgery. We know that you're going to miss the year. So what does it look like from a rehab point? Do you tick off the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Or like, how do you tick off the milestones and not look too far ahead?
So I think that's, because you can go pretty crazy having a long-term injury because I've done my Achilles a few years ago as well. So you can actually lose your mind if you don't, like you said, have those certain goals, those short-term goals. Obviously, the long-terms are 12 months. I'll be back next preseason fully and whatnot, but I'm not even thinking about that at the moment. So, I had my surgery a week ago Friday, and I've gone into the club a couple of times and done a few exercises, but I'm just currently on this thing, the good old, it's called a Game Ready. So it's like a little machine. You put some ice in it, put some water in it, sit down, ice, and get all the swelling out. So over the next probably month, it's all about just getting my range of motion back in my knee, and just keeping the swelling out, and hoping that the scars fully heal up and have no issues with infections or anything like that. So, but yeah, it's all pretty cruisy for the next probably month. But then sort of once the season starts, round one, I'm pretty much, starting to ramp it. You ramp it up to, get back walking normally and running on the Ultra G on the treadmill and stuff like that. So once I'm back, sort of fully walking around properly, it's actually a pretty quick turnaround in terms of I'm back training, back outside kicking a football, back in the gym doing full strength. So, but yeah, that probably won't be for another 3 months, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, my focus is just sort of the next month, 2 months, and obviously got a bit of time now at the home. So where previously with Ayla and Rach, I wasn't, I was gone from 7 o'clock in the morning. I won't get home till 5 o'clock in the afternoon during pre-season, anyways, on our main day. So to be able to, just sort of slow down a bit, and I've been forced to slow down and sort of spend a bit of time with my girls. It's been obviously mentally wise, been a bit shit trying to get my head around not playing footy and all that, because it's just been sort of swept away under my feet, if you will. But sort of haven't really had time to think about it too much because I've had my hands full here at home, which has been awesome. So, but yeah, I'm actually looking forward to being able to spend a bit more time, like I said, on this side of the fence. To be honest, I chatted to Rach the other day about it. She goes, "How are you going? Like, mentally, how are you going to go at games this year?" Because I'm very animated at games when I've watched the boys play. So we had a chat about that, and I said, to be honest, I'm actually bloody looking forward to sitting in the crowd and wearing my Carlton stuff and just being a fan. To be honest, because like I said, I haven't been a fan for a while, and sort of I sort of forget how it feels from the other side of the fence, and I get to get my family to come down and a bit of time with them as well, sitting in the crowd as well with them. So which will be awesome. So instead of them coming down, and it's always good for them to watch me play, but I'm sure they're just going to enjoy being able to spend some time at the game with me as well, just watching footy and enjoying all those 85,000 members that are going to be at the game. So it's going to be a long 12 months, but at the same time, like I said, I've planned in my head to just enjoy moments where I can as well.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, thank you so much for making yourself available for us all. It means a lot. It really does. I think a lot of fans, I think it's important, we watch the games and we watch the players, and I think it can be you're almost like you can almost become like a fictional character. Like, we only know you as a player. So to be able to come on this side and chat to you as a human, as a man, and, real life has happened and is happening. I think that's an important link that a lot of the industry, I think we can bridge a little bit to help understand a little bit more around. There's also a human that plays this game, not just a player,
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, like I said, like I've been forced to slow down now, sort of with my footy stuff. So, there's so much more. Football is always my number one priority, and I love it. I love going into the club. I love training. I love playing games. But I've sort of been forced to slow down and being out. I've actually, like I said, I can't get over how excited I am to actually being able to enjoy just being a fan with you guys. Hey, it's so funny that we've been talking about how much I've been talking to Rach about it. But yeah, I'm actually really excited. I've got a big smile on my face because I can't get over how excited I am. But
well, we'll
it's gonna be awesome.
We'll get you on the fan cams maybe after a game when we play, and see if you're around. You're welcome anytime to come and share your thoughts.
Mate. Well, I'm available. I'm available, mate. I'll be floating around. So just come and find me, and I'll happily jump on for sure.
All right, we'll get you on, man. We'll get you on for sure. Listen, all the best with the family. All the best with recovery, and may I wish you good health more than anything else. We look forward to seeing you back out there, and look forward to seeing you develop not only as a player, as a human. And man, thanks again.
No worries. Thanks for having me on, Terry. I know we've been chatting for a couple of years now, and potentially this was going to happen at some point, but yeah, it's finally happened. And thanks, it's been awesome. Thank you.